Hello all, this is John from EastCoastArmory.com, and I'm here today with a project update video for this 1/6 scale German SDKFZ 222 armored car. Since the last video update, work has been done on the model's cab as well as the cab interior. We will go over these details in this video. Before I can go into the interior detailing, work was done on the upper body, which included the removal of certain areas of the hull. These certain areas here that were removed because it's either for the grille work, like the large opening that we have here in the rear deck, as well as the engine hatches. The two side hatches that we have here and here, they were laser cut into the plastic from the original kit. However, the center engine hatch here had to have been added. Also, what was added was the cutout for the rear axis panel here for the engine. The panel over here is included with the kit for the top roof of the hatch, as well as the two side hatches that we have here on either side. However, this portion here has to be fabricated. On the real 222 armored car, there is a louvered grille plate that covers up access into the engine. Over that grille plate is an armor cover that's hinged, and that comes down in this fashion here. All these parts will be fabricated as the build progresses. Another cutout that was added to the rear portion of the model was the lower air intakes for the engine compartment. These two square pieces here were cut out of the body panel, and what's special about these two panels, or these two intake holes, is that they have a little armored duct mounted to each of them. The duct allows air to flow into the compartment, however, it does not allow foreign objects to go into the compartment as well. The ducts themselves are fabricated out of sheet metal and have been mounted to the interior portion of the model. On the rear hatches, we noticed that the hatch wells have been added. I made another video earlier of this procedure being done, and it's an online tutorial that can be found on my video listings. As what was mentioned in an earlier scene, the cutout for the model's grille work has been added to the rear portion here of the upper hull. The 222 had a very elaborate grille setup that was all made out of sheet metal. This grille, the purpose for it was because of the proximity of the armored car's radiator. Radiator would be positioned in this portion here of the hull, and the extra grille work here gave adequate ventilation for cool air to pass through the cabin and into the radiator. Currently, about half of the model's interior is completed, namely the rear portion here of the interior. As we can see, the firewall has been detailed and fabricated, as well as the side detailing. The model's firewall is all fabricated out of Lexan. The Lexan has been scored on either side, so both objects as well as the paint can stick better to it. If we can notice here, there's a box frame around this portion here of the firewall. This is to make space for the model's grille work for the radiator. The radiator itself had a small screen mesh which separated the binding compartment from the engine bay. The radiator cover itself will be fabricated out of varmint mesh after the installation of the upper body. Starting with the left-hand side detailing, we can see here that the model's bulkhead has been added. The 222 was unique in that the body was actually comprised of two halves. You had the rear portion of the body and the front portion of the body. The two halves were conjoined in the rear 3/4 here of the body, and had a small seam that ran along both the upper and lower half of the body. This seam is prevalent on both sides of the vehicle. On the inside, the two body halves were held together via a flange. The flange has its bolt detailing as well as its angle detailing added. In addition to completing the model's firewall, all of the interior wall detailing has been added. The welds are all sculpted out of a two-part epoxy, And not only are they there for detail reasons, they cover up any seams on the model's body panels, and as well as give the model a little bit extra of some structural support. As we can see here on the front portion here of the vehicle, we have the model's angle pieces represented. The German 222 armored car is very similar to a lot of German vehicles, where the angle pieces have the small squiggle line in its construction. These type of angles are found on the Tiger 1 as well as on actually most German AFV. Towards the front portion of the vehicle, we have here the mounts for the model's instrument panel. The instrument panel has its master already produced and will be going into resin. Once the piece is casted, it will be added to the EastCoastArmory.com product line. Along with the model seam that was mentioned earlier, the model's trimming has also been added. On the 222 armored car, the top portion of the body slightly overhung from the bottom portion. This piece of detailing is missing in the kit. The way I replicated was I took some plastic square stock and glued it around the edge of the top portion of the body where it meets the lower portion. After the addition of this square stock, putty work was added and the whole piece was blended in. This gives the illusion that the top portion of the body overhangs properly on the lower half, as I've seen on the real 222 armored car. The trimming was done on both sides of the vehicle. From all of the images of the 222 that I've seen, all of the interior equipment are not mounted directly to the body panel. Rather, they are mounted to these other panels that are then mounted to the body panel. If this is for extra armor or just because they didn't want to drill holes into the armored steel is unknown. However, what is known is that all of the equipment is bolted to these plates, which are then fitted to the vehicle. Like on the left-hand side, the right-hand side also has its interior detailing added. And also like on the other side, all of the parts are mounted to large plates. All of the equipment that you see mounted to these plates are all fastened on via fasteners and are not held on with glues, just like that on the real vehicle. Also, almost all of the interior components that we have on either side of the model are fabricated out of sheet metal and are all soldered together. The identification of the parts are as follows. These brackets here, they are for the ammunition for the MG34 machine gun. The ammo is kept in these large rectangular ammo cans and would be used for the coaxial MG34 that is going to be mounted in the turret. This bracket over here is for the bread bag, as well as these two mounts here, they are for the German mess kit. This bracket that we have here is the mount for the German MP40 submachine gun. This bracket here is, I believe, for the flare pistol, and this box here are the flare pistol shells. Moving our way up, over here we have a box which will hold a clear spare periscope lens, which would be for the front of the vehicle. There are several of these boxes mounted throughout the model's interior. On the top portion here of the plate are mounts for the German wire cutter tool. The tool itself will be added once all of the interior is painted. On the reverse side of the interior, we have some more of those MG34 ammo can boxes. But over here, we have a mount for the gas mask canister. Here goes another storage box, as well as another mount for the spare periscopes. This very elaborate rack here is for the stick grenades, or the potato mashers. As we continue to move on, over here we have another storage box, and over here we have a mount for the MP40 ammunition pouches. Moving our way back, on the firewall we have two more ammo cans for the MG34. As you can imagine, a machine gun like the MG34 is going to eat up a lot of rounds very quickly. So having a lot of storage for them on the inside of the vehicle is a smart idea. Also concerning the MG34 is a case which will be mounted, or which can be mounted on this portion here of the vehicle. And this case is a canister which holds 2 MG34 spare barrels. Again, just like with the ammunition, the MG34 with its quick barrel change would be necessary due to its high rate of fire. After the model's interior is painted and weathered, a large number of the equipment that I mentioned earlier will be mounted and affixed to the model's interior. This is because all of the model's interior racks that you see here are fully functional. For example, the model's grenade racks will hold the 1/6 scale potato mashers. The rack holds all 6, and they just simply lock in. The small little cup here holds the grenade portion, and a little clamp here holds onto the handle. The grenades themselves are from Dragon, and I will be going more into the interior equipment as the build progresses. Here's the rack, fully loaded, ready to go with grenades. On the front right portion of the vehicle, we have here another tool post mount. On the lower portion here, there's a bracket, and this bracket here is for the German axe. Over here, we have yet another one of the spare periscope boxes. And that concludes this project update video for this 1/6 scale SDKFZ 222 German armored car. If you like this video, stop by and like us on Facebook. And also, don't forget to check out eastcoastarmory.com for more 1/6 scale tank builds, as well as other 1/6 scale detail components. Thank you.